Carry on. I was just letting you know I was going live.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody.
It says we're live. So,
Hello, Clarice.
okay, let me get myself organized here. All right. Welcome. Live from the Crossroads of America, talk show, guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience, either in the chat or by email at rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Broadcasted on gun channels and YouTube. The audio file of this show will be on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitchers within 24 hours. If everything you need to know is in the description below the video there. Just wanted to say that. And before I go any further with introductions saying whatever, is I was going to cancel because I'm not feeling well. All of a sudden I've come down. I've already been sick once, and I'm not sure, to be honest with you, I'm not sure which end it's going to come out of next time. So if you see me disappear, just keep on talking, guys on the panel. I'll be back. I just wanted to put that out there. That's how I'm feeling. So, all right. Believe it or not, we've only got, he's doing double duty in the chat. We got Patriot in the Dark, then we got Mystic Guns, and that's it. That's all that's in the chat. That's pretty sad. You know? So I'll introduce my panel to Mystic Guns. We have Patriot in the Dark. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing wonderful. And good afternoon, ma'am, out there. Yeah. She knows because I always call her ma'am. So she knows I'm talking to her. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, then we got Squib Load. How you doing, Squib?
Hey, Rick. Thanks for having the show on Saturday. For those of us who are snowed in, it's entertaining to have you out there, and I know you're under the weather, but it is appreciated that you went live.
Yeah. Oh, and we got the blind shooter.
Hey, Rick, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
All right,
I always appreciate the company when I'm out shoveling snow, unlike Squib, just relaxing in it.
Oh, no, I got the kids shoveling snow. I'm chilling in the backyard with a beer and my Mickey Mouse boots.
You got snow up there, huh?
Oh, my goodness. I walked out my front door, and it was up almost mid-thigh because it drifts around that part. And so I went out through the garage, and I shoveled, and I got over there. It got deeper and deeper. And then I went out to the driveway, and my driveway was clear. And my neighbor yells over, "Hey, I plowed best I could." So thank you, Mr. Neighbor. I do appreciate it. So I wasn't half as tired as I thought it was going to be. So I lucked out.
There you go. We just had some rain this morning, and that was it. The sun's out right now. But there was a big, dark cloud coming over, I can see. We've had more people join us in the chat. We got the Grim 90, Jason Stewart, Native Gun. I haven't seen you in ages. They've joined us in there. Hi to all of you. I'm glad you're here. So, you guys got anything you want to talk about off the top of your head? Oh, Midnight Ranger joined us.
Well, before the show, I was talking with Patriot in the Dark about how his software may or may not read a caption on a video. So let me just put a little background in here. For those who don't make videos, sometimes you'll be making a video and you'll just be, going off the cuff, no script or nothing like that. It's a lot easier that way sometimes. You just go stream of consciousness. And just like any normal conversation you're going to have, you might slip a word. Slip of the tongue. You say left when you mean right. You kind of throw two words together or whatever it is, so you can use a caption instead of going back. When you go back to play the video and you're reviewing it, and you go, "Ah, man, I flubbed that," right? Instead of going back, shooting that section of the video and then trying to cut up the video and then try to splice it in and make it blend in, you can just use a caption down at the bottom. And if somebody's actually watching a video, not listening to it, they'll read the caption and go, "Okay, yeah, they said left, but they really meant right." Because they might be going, and this is off to my right side when it's really off to your left side. Or you might put a caption, it's on my right side, but it looks to the left to you as the viewer, or something like that. And that's what captions are good for. They just make it easier after you put some time into a video or you're trying to do a video quickly and you got a little flub there. It's kind of nice to use that. So I was just wondering, since he's visually impaired, does his software read that? But not necessarily will it do that, because the real backstory is I shot a short food review video and I said cereal instead of milk, and I meant milk, and it doesn't make any sense if you put cereal there in a sentence. So what I did was I just put caption in bold print in red, milk, right? Anybody reading it's going to go, yeah, he meant to say milk, not cereal. And I got it in my studio. It's all ready to go. It's unlisted. All I have to do is just click public, save, and it's out there, right? And for some reason or another, I thought, well, what if Patriot in the Dark actually takes the time to listen to this video and he goes, what the hell is he talking about? Because he can't read that I put the caption in there. I was actually thinking about you, Patriot. I was being considerate.
See,
what's wrong? I'm getting soft.
I would just blow it out because, it's Squib. Come on. But,
that's true. You might be going, well, his videos aren't any good anyhow, so it's not meant to make sense.
Well, sometimes if you can set it up for some of the software, it depends on what you're watching it on. If it's a desktop, laptop, or phone or whatever, they're all different. But you can set it up to read captions. I mean, even like TV, if you're watching Netflix or something, you can set it up so that the voiceover or whatever will pick up those words that are typed. But, when you're watching a show, obviously you don't want that because, you hear the people talking unless they're foreign. You don't want to read the closed captioning or whatever. But that's if it's set up as a closed captioning. Now, it's just as far as inserting text, right directly on a video, unless it's just a static picture. Like if you post a picture on Instagram and it's just a picture and there's text on there, sometimes you can, the software will read it. Or, nowadays they're getting better with, snooping and all that stuff, that they actually set it up and it'll put in the alt text that'll say, it may say the words, don't eat donuts while you're driving or whatever. So sometimes it'll say that, but that's not really YouTube. I've never noticed it where it'll actually read anything like that unless you pause it and use some, the OCR, the optical character recognition stuff. But yeah, that's cool though. I appreciate the thing. But like I said, if you take, if you do have a mistake or whatever, and you, instead of going back and changing it, if you're, lazy, don't want to do that, you can just add, whatever that change was or the mistake in the description. There's a lot of guys. I mentioned it. Like Dad Incredible, I think he does food videos. Well, he had one that was crab cakes on the flat iron, right? And it was just a short little video, but all it is music, and it's like, I'd like to check this out. And so I had mentioned in the comments, hey, you obviously he's showing text on the screen of, what's needed, half a cup of this or whatever. But, I mentioned, I said, hey, if you're going to put that information on the video, which is really cool, since you already have it typed out, can you just stick it in the description? Because there's a lot of us out here that wouldn't mind making, whatever, fish tacos or whatever you're doing. So just a little tip. If you want to add it in the description, that's cool.
No.
And that's what I did. And I'm kind of glad that when we were off there talking about this, you had mentioned that's something that you can do. So for anybody else out there who's new to making videos or makes low quality videos like mine or whatever, and uses a caption as a quick fix because it's either impractical or you're just being lazy or whatever, if you can take advantage of that comment section for those that are visually impaired, and that might help out, because if they take the time to read it, then it might help that minor little mistake make some sense.
And that's the other thing too. If you putting stuff in the description, if you listen to the the video nerds, like with Clover's nerd chat and all that stuff, talking about taking the title and putting stuff in the description, and then using your tags and all that extra stuff. I mean, anything that you put in there extra is gonna help out, unless you're just putting word list or random things or whatever. But I always try to stick something in there, and then it can also help you out. I do know that I have one video out of all my videos that I messed around trying to do the closed captioning, which is kind of crazy. Whatever it was, I was doing it on a desktop, which I don't use very much, and I do have that. But those closed captioning, that text is also included as far as your tags. So if you do take the time to do that closed captioning, it may help with searching or something. I mean, not that I know any of that kind of stuff, but I know that anything that's mentioned in there might help with the search. So just a suggestion.
So in other words, if your software reads closed captions, correct?
If you can set it up, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that means, are you joining in the lawsuit with porn? You can hear
No, it was funny.
captions?
That was hilarious because I watched Matt's, the little hasty headlines, and I put a comment in there that I said, I don't, partake in that stuff, but I said, if they don't have closed captioning, they definitely don't have described video as far as audio. So, but that guy's got to put his name on there, and I'm not going to do that. So, any blind guy that wants to jump in there, if you want to kick me a couple bucks, that'd be cool.
All right.
Well,
So
now, can I use your name, Patriot?
You can use yours, and we'll just split.
Cool.
okay, let's move on to the what should we say, the biggest story in the country at the moment, Virginia. Now, Trump actually put a tweet out saying Virginia's under serious attack, but you get what you like, votes have consequences. But he did say at least he knows something's going on in Virginia, but as we don't like a lot of government, I mean, you don't want you don't want the federal government overreaching and sort of taking over from the states, because aren't the states meant to be independent? Or am I missing something here?
No, we fought a war over states' rights, and the side that didn't want states' rights won. Now everybody's whining and complaining and going, states' rights, and like, this isn't what you wanted.
Okay.
I still think it's pretty good if he does call it out, because I mean, then if he says anything, the media is gonna do whatever.
Yeah, I've noticed that in the last couple of days, grudgingly, they're slanting it the wrong way, most of the media, but it's starting to show up in mainstream media now, what's happening in Virginia. I see. To me, I hope nothing happens. I hope the media is there and they're taking movies and films and all that kind of stuff. I hope it's nice and peaceful. But it seems to me that he keeps doubling down that he is trying to get the 2A people to do something, or he can say, "Look, we told you they're terrorists, they're crazy," and it seems like he's pushing and pushing because all the stuff he's doing. He wants, for the rest of the United States, look, this is how you handle your gun trouble in your state. So I don't know. It seems crazy. Putting a fence up around the Capitol, and he's going to corral people inside this fence. Once he's got them inside the fence, what's he going to do? All the windows open up on the Capitol and they get machine gunned down?
No.
Okay, Rick, now that's just ridiculous.
I did hear something that was pretty interesting. I don't know. I don't know if you want to go into it, but one of the guys, I want to say it was Bill Whittle or whatever, but he's long-winded, but he does have some interesting stuff. But they were actually discussing that there is the what do you call it? The guys that wear black and they're supposedly
Antifa?
Yeah, I don't I don't say their name. Anyways, they were saying that the guys there in Virginia actually want to show up because they want to, obviously they're for gun rights too, which was different. They say that all their groups are different and they don't all follow the same marching orders or whatever you want to call it. But was saying that they actually want to show up because they obviously all their politics and everything else is different, but
I mean,
they wanted to show up and actually be there as pro
part of
firearm, pro
part of the 2A community. That's what they wanted to be. I read the article.
But it's it's what it is, and you're always going to have some jackwagons doing something bad or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, after what they've done, it's like, do you trust a Democrat when he says, "I'm not going to take your guns"?
Well, that's
I mean,
the thing. You got such a large group, and they're spread out all over. And I would, most of them I wouldn't, because they don't care about any other rights or whatever. I don't know. I don't know one personally, so I can't really talk about them. I mean, whatever they read, and I don't pay attention to them. But it's their, I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I think that as long as people go with respect, and don't start some garbage, which there's always somebody going to start something just because they want to be, they think they're cool and they play their video games and they think that's how life is.
Yeah.
But hopefully there's enough people there that will call out anybody. If you see somebody acting stupid, you got to take it upon yourself or, your group or whatever to say, hey, you better cool it. This is not what we're here for or whatever. And that goes for anybody. That's, our side, their side, whatever. You should make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but if they don't get into a fight with them.
No, I mean, because if you have a large group and there's people doing a commotion, right? As long as you're not reacting and doing the same commotion, it's going to be easy to pick out people doing something, and I'm, there's going to be police there. It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
did you see that video put out by Guns and Gadgets this morning?
No, I've been shuffling.
I'm assuming she's a Republican representative. She put out on Facebook that what the governor is doing is almost he wants people to do something because he wants to enact the Patriot Act and call you a domestic terrorist.
Yeah, that's definitely a game plan for.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now, the Virginia Citizens Defense League put out a thing as well, saying that they want 10,000 people to go unarmed inside the fence, and everybody else who's carrying to be outside the fence. Because they're going to be wanding everybody who comes through. So if you're carrying, it's if you're carrying something that you're not meant to, it's going to show up on the wand. So so I don't know. It's some of this. I mean, see now, the Supreme Court. The Virginia Supreme Court turned down the stay as well. That happened late yesterday. So as it stands right now, his state of emergency is still good. And I was reading it, and what they're all basing it on is, about they say, well, it's outside, it's not a shelter. Right? Now think about this. He's put a fence around it, and if he gets people inside there, he's sheltering them with the fence. He's got you. But anyway,
I don't know.
I don't know. Man, I don't know. It's a tricky situation. I hope it comes off. I hope 2A people behave themselves You know, but there's always idiots in the crowd. Even 2A have idiots.
But that's just like they teach you when you're teaching classes. You know, you get. I used to train a lot of the skilled trades guys and stuff, and you get a group of people, and you know they know what they know, and you know I know everything. Ask me, I'll tell you. And one of the things you know I always had to deal with was these guys would just start talking or something, you know, and that's obviously that's causing issues in a classroom. And so the big thing was to walk and stand behind them. And everybody else in the class is still looking at you, then they get, you know, nervous because, you know, everybody's looking at them. So hopefully that's kind of the situation. If somebody's acting stupid, which they shouldn't, but, you know, as long as you I don't know, like I said, call them out. I mean, don't be a jerk about it, but, you know, I don't see a big issue. Hopefully there's a lot of people there and it goes off just like any of the other rallies where there's not an issue. And it's, you know, the progressives are pushing, oh, it's horrible, it's bad, it's a emergency, you know, whatever situation. And then all these people show up, nothing happens, and they leave, and they look like they got egg on their face, maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah, Squib's having connectivity issues by the looks of it. So he keeps going in and out.
He fell over in his lawn chair with his Mickey Mouse boots drinking that beer.
Now, is that what it is?
Out in the backyard.
Called a Samsung Galaxy not so smartphone. If you get so much as just moisture off your breath on the screen of the phone, it goes berserk. Right now I'm standing outside in the snow. On occasion we're getting a little bit of mist, some snowflakes, some raindrops. And if I get just a drop of water, I got a little bit of dew on the phone. It'll just start going nuts and doing whatever the hell it wants to do. I'd really like to smash it against a tree and get a new phone, but if I had money for a new phone, I'd probably be going to Virginia. So
I know what you mean. Oh, now here's something I know it's conspiracy. I know it is, right? The governor, Mr. Blackface, he does his state of emergency because of so-called credible intel that stuff's going to happen. You know, according to the Capitol Police and all that, they had no credible stuff. But within an hour or two of him declaring this, all of a sudden, hitting mainstream media, the FBI arrested neo-Nazis who were going to come.
Yeah.
They had nothing. One of them mentioned that he might go to Virginia, but it had nothing to do with Virginia, why they were arrested. The FBI, because I read the story, the FBI has been keeping an eye on them for over a year now, you know, to see what they're up to, and they finally got enough evidence to arrest them. You know, so I don't know. It just seemed.
Well, they're definitely trying to stack it up, you know, because that's what they want. You know, they want to make it, you know, the firearm owners and, you know, lawful Americans are crazy and they're nuts and all they love is this and that. And, you know, the whole list of things that they try to do. So if they say that, you know, all these bad things are happening, they're planning on this stuff and it, you know, they're stacking it up like a snowbank. You know, and then once it happens and a lot of people are there and they leave and nothing happens, then, you know, that's it. Yeah. Hopefully people start, you know, the Peter and the Wolf thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if Northam has set something up to happen, making it look like one of us, but it's a plant he put out there. Or
Rick, no. All right, I've heard this bullshit so many times. There's police snipers up on the rooftops of buildings. There's no snipers up there. Oh, Antifa is going to be there and they're going to start some stuff. They never start any stuff. Oh, one of them's going to be in the crowd and they're going to throw a brick or a bottle or something and then it's on. Never happens. If anything, I'd be concerned about somebody having, if they were open carrying or they were carrying at all, that they would have an ND that would go off and that would spark something more so than all these rumors about all these plants and all these things. And the more people talk about that stuff, the more people believe it. That doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. That stuff doesn't happen at rallies. I think this rally is going to be a big wah-wah is what's going to happen.
Yeah, the only thing I could see happening is somebody shows up there and they're not thinking right, and they have, a 6-inch blade in their pocket or something something that's contraband that doesn't have anything to do with firearms, or they're, I don't know, Virginia.
And then the news will talk about the person who showed up with the weapon, and everybody will assume it was a gun.
Oh, no, it's bad because he had one of those marijuana cigarettes.
What gets me is they're going to wand everybody walking through the entrances, right?
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, I know, but it's been put out on thing is a pocket knife is okay. So aren't those wands going to go off every time if somebody's carrying a pocket knife?
And their keys. I mean, everybody going there is probably driving.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
going to be a slow process to get inside, I think.
I don't see an issue. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's a line of 10,000 people trying to get in, they're still there. It doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, nobody showed up. Look, nobody showed up. Everybody's still going to be there.
Or they'll stand across the street.
Yeah. If they look across, I mean, there's going to be enough people there with enough, phones, and there's enough feeds on YouTube and everywhere else, Facebook and all that other nutty stuff, which, that's kind of scary. You might want to watch doing live feeds, because if somebody is carrying across the street and you flash through there, are you going to be banned on YouTube for being, a live show and somebody has a firearm? So that is something that people might want to consider, right? If people are standing across the street, you might want to take some still shots.
Yeah.
Now, or record it and not really do a live thing. I don't know, because that's something that I didn't think of, because
Did anybody see the Mr. Guns and Gear video he put out, where he's talking about he said he carries everywhere, but he's going to stay outside the fence. He's got a bunch of Brownell mags to give away while he's there. But then as he's talking, he's talking about he's not going in unless maybe somebody breaches the fence. He doesn't say anything. But up in the corner, he has a picture of a guy with one of those metal saws sawing through a fence.
Yeah, well, that guy, he might be an idea. He might be got a lot of good stuff. Put out information as it comes out, but some of the stuff I don't know. I wouldn't follow him like he knows everything, because even with the stuff up in New York and stuff, there's some stuff that everybody says something that they regret or whatever, but shit like that is just ridiculous.
New York has fallen anyway, so we know that because we got it official from John Z in his video this morning. New York has fallen. Isn't that right, Blind Shooter? Is he there? He hadn't said a word in a while. No, I guess he's stepped off somewhere. So Squib Load keeps disconnecting. So yeah.
I don't know. I would take everything.
Now there was something mentioned this morning by Mr. Guns and Gear that the Virginia government has brought in some system that monitors cell phone calls, right? And they're able to shut down cell phone calls if they need to. Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
Who's going to be talking on their phones anyway? I wouldn't. There's a lot of stuff that's pushed out there, and I don't know. I guess it's my little chip on my shoulder. I always try to be positive, and there's a lot of guys that are jump at this and it's World War III, the whole Iran garbage.
But what I'm afraid of is
it's ridiculous.
I believe most 2A activists, is that the correct word, are like us here, law abiding and everything else. But then you do have out there like those militia who are out there that the government's out to get them. If some of that crowd shows up, it could cause problems.
I don't think so.
You
But
know?
I've met plenty of militia, and they're good people. I mean, any group that you have, it doesn't matter. You're going to have bad people just because they consist of people, and people are
Yeah, the way
whatever.
I
I wouldn't sweat it like that. And that's
all
one of
I
those
would do
things.
is, if I was going personally, I would go armed or concealed carry, and so I would stand outside the fence. But I'll be in yellow state. I'll be looking everywhere. To make sure. Also, if I'm with somebody, and I suggest you do at least go with one person with you. Don't go alone, just in case. But you need to, if you got a crowd of you, you need to make sure you know everybody in that crowd.
Nah.
My
biggest concern would be
I think it's going to come off. I believe it's going to come off peacefully. I really do. But but we do have idiots out there, and that's if an idiot tries to pull something and gets away with it, God knows what's going to happen. What I'm afraid of is maybe somebody pulls something off and it's not really that tragic or whatever, but the media is going to slant it that way.
That's plausible, Rick, but here's the thing. A lot of these people calling for violence are the biggest chicken shits in the world. They've never been in a fight. They don't know what real combat is like. They have no idea. Hell, they probably put the wrong ammunition in their gun, if they even know how to load it. And then if they go through that fence and they go through the checkpoint and they get caught, they're getting pulled off to the side. So if they show up without their gun because they want to be there, but they don't want to get arrested, they're going to be standing in this crowd with a whole bunch of other people, whether they know them or not, and going, I don't have the thing that makes me powerful because I'm not man enough to handle stuff on my own. You've taken away for some of these people that are out there screaming for violence and all this other stuff, and they have no experience, they have no guts, they have no anything. You take away that gun, they're powerless, just like somebody who commits mass murder with a firearm. They're powerless. They're cowards. I respect people's right to say what they want to say, but I really think it's irresponsible, some of the things that people are saying. And the other thing is, if he hadn't done this illegal emergency order and the guns were there, I can tell you absolutely nothing would happen, because that's why nothing happens at the rallies. Most of them, people are armed. And if somebody shows up, they're going, crap, there's 100 rednecks here with guns. They're not going to do anything. It proves the point about our gun-free zone argument that we've been having for a long time, that if you get rid of those, the crime is going to decrease. And when it does happen, it's going to end quickly. And because he took away the guns, if anything's going to create an issue, it's because he illegally did this emergency order, which violates state law the way he did it, and that would create a problem if for some reason there actually was a problem. But these posers, these keyboard warriors, these lonely guys living in their mom's basement who don't have a job and don't have any confidence, who have their Cash Trunnion AK and their steel case ammo that are, the boogaloo, these guys are the last ones to actually do anything unless one of them's totally flipped out, in which case we all know if you're that crazy, you'll use whatever you've got. A knife, a broken bottle, a rock, a gun, a car. I mean, the list just goes on, right? But for the rest of them, they're just a bunch of loudmouth posers who want to feel powerful. They want to feel like they're cool and they're tough. I'm an operator. I'm tough. I can play video games and I've got a gun and it's like, son, let me tell you something about getting shot at. All right? They're not. I just don't hold them as credible. I know that people want them in our community because they're young and eventually, hopefully, they'll mature and they're going to have kids of their own. And we want to keep this whole Second Amendment thing alive. And the more numbers we got, the better. But there's times where I'm just face palming going, are you kidding me?
Well, that comes from older people too. So that thing is just not, a young thing. But the only thing I would add is just the one thing that everyone should be concerned about if they go is that live feed video with firearms getting in there. You don't want to be, blocked or 86'd or kicked off of, your channel because you got a firearm on a live feed. So I don't know if it's probably been mentioned and everybody's talking about it probably, but that's just something I thought about. That's, I don't know, if you're going, maybe record it and then upload the 10-minute sections or 15-minute sections every 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Squib in a way, but I will not. I mean, yes, nothing, more than likely nothing will happen, but it doesn't mean that it won't.
Yeah, but
and that's
also
keep your eyes, keep your, I mean, it's like anything. If you go anywhere, you should be observing what's going on around you anyway. And that's what you need to do there. That's all.
You do the same thing if you're going to the mall. Being prepared is fine, just not scared and freaked out. You follow some of those guys; they talk out the side of their neck.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of gun ho, fat slobs sitting in their basement think they are the number one operator, and they never even actually ever really shot a real gun. It's only been something on a video game, So anyway, I was just laughing at this. Midnight Range. Rick's laughing. I say, yeah, Squib's got to calm down. If he gets all wound up and spits all over his phone, he'll flip out again and he'll drop.
He's right. I just get sick of hearing. I mean, since this has come up, since the rally was created, because it was never intended to happen, the rally was created out of miscommunication. All I've heard is, "Oh, this is it. It's gonna happen." And it's like, and you know what? I'm not Mr. Positivity. I am definitely not Mr. You think I'd be all over this going, "Yeah, that's right," but I'm going, "No, this is just ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous." So I guess I sound kind of positive from the sense that I'm going, nothing's going to happen.
Well, it's being realistic. That's the thing. It's just like in the 70s or 80s when they cut off talking about serial killers on the news. Why'd they do that? Because stupid people listen and think, hey, I can be popular for a minute, right? There's just too many people saying too much garbage. It's fine to be prepared and to talk about stuff and to think about, and have a course of action, but not to the point where, I'm going and I'm going to cut through the chain, if somebody cuts through, I'm going to jump through. That guy is a dumbass. I whatever, you might not like that tone, but I could be worried just like anybody else, but it's ridiculous. But you just pay attention just like you would in any damn group. You go to the movies, what do? You're always looking, at least if you get your head on straight. I don't know. And somebody that has a lot of people listening and you pump out that stuff and pump up a bunch of people that might not be as experienced, to think that something like that's going to, happen, that, I don't know.
Yeah.
We all know that there are big YouTube channels out there with big audiences that hang on every word they say as if it's gospel. And the people behind the camera have no clue. You can talk a good game, but do you really know what you're doing? Do you really know what you're talking about? Have you had any experience with this? Have you? You can use catchphrases. You can repeat what you hear on the news. You can copy what another YouTuber does. You can throw out a couple fancy words or whatever. And if you've got an audience full of people who don't understand gun terminology or tactics or have any experience themselves, they're going to believe, well, they got 100,000 subscribers. They must know what they're talking about. No, they got 100,000 subscribers because they're popular for whatever reason, because they say controversial stuff, because they're attractive, because they do funny video. Whatever it is they did to get that, and that delegitimizes the real big channels that really do know what they're talking about, because they're like, don't let me in with these guys. They're posers.
I don't know. I think you could still use a fish for a suppressor if you had to. Crickets.
All right. I was
Oh, did you hear the switching from the
Damn it! I spit on my phone.
Switching the rules for shipping small arms out of the country from the State Department to the Commerce. Did you hear that?
No.
President Trump finally passed that or pushed it through? A thing that's been sitting there for what, 7-8 years? Where the little guys that don't sit, that gunsmithing tax that that former president pushed through that made anybody that made firearms had that 250, I think, whatever it was, a yearly tax, and even if you didn't sell out of the country, you still had to pay for it. Since they moved it from the State Department to the Commerce Department or whatever. That kind of gets rid of that, so that helps out a lot of little guys.
You're talking about the ITAR thing.
Yes, that was finally passed or is pushed through, as far as I think. But I did read that today.
Oh, okay.
Did you see the device I sent you, Rick? I didn't send you. I sent you a link to the.
Yes.
How is it set up? Can you describe that? Because the company doesn't describe it very well.
I know, and I was trying. To me, it looks like a suppressor with a handle on it.
Okay, so it's for the laser and the light. But
yeah.
But basically, it attaches to your pistol for people with arthritis or disabled that can't hold on something. But it's basically like almost a foregrip for a pistol, and it's legal because it's actually hooked with the laser so that it. I don't know. Anyways, they had a bunch of videos on there. That lady was shooting like 10 shots and every time.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a long suppressor with a laser on the end, right? And it's sort of like a handle, like a what do you call it that you would have on an AR-15 at the front if you wanted one?
Vertical foregrip.
Yeah, foregrip. It looked like that to me, and that's what it was.
I don't know. They said they got patents pending or whatever on there.
Yeah, I was looking all over.
Signed off on it.
I was looking all over to get a better description of it.
Okay.
Exactly what was so special about it.
Do you know the name of it? I can't.
Yeah, I kept your email actually.
Okay.
Let me have a look.
Because that's something that you might want to put out there because it was interesting. It's something that for people that can't hold it straight or it might not be very good, using the laser and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, let me get the I'm going to put the link in the chat for anybody who has issues. What you call it?
Yeah, they said there's no tax stamp or anything.
It's the Senior Citizen Defender, an accessory to improve grip accuracy for the elderly shooters. So.
And the page is all videos, and it's like some 70-year-old lady that's never shot before, and she shoots 10 rounds in like under 4 seconds and hits at 20 yards or whatever it was. Hit all of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyways, I just came across it. I thought it was interesting. I
put it out there. I put the link out in the chat there. So there we go. But yeah. Now see. Who was it? Said it. When the hell? Who? Oh yeah, Midnight Range. Go right. The governor Northam, blackface hoodie, is the one who amped up this shot up stuff. If he would just shut up, we would probably barely be talking about it. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's their game.
That's what I was saying. It seems like he's trying to instigate something.
Yeah, it'll work out best for him.
And we have got to not take the bait. Basically, just go about doing what we got to do, you know, and meet other, Virginia gun owners and everything else, and have a good day. Listen to the speaker.
Bring your barbecue pit that you pull behind your truck, and I would definitely do that. Somebody's been making some dollars, making some brats out there. Trailer barbecuers.
Yeah, oh yeah, bring that behind. Just set up next to Mr. Guns and Gear while he's giving away the.
I wouldn't set up.
You can be selling a hot dog.
Patriot. If you want a mag from Brownells, I've got a couple.
Yeah. That. I don't know.
So, all right. Hey, Honda's joined us.
And tell Midnight he better make sure he stops on the way home from work and get some flowers for his darling wife, since it's her birthday today. Happy birthday!
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was married.
What?
I don't watch it. I don't watch his. I know. I've been on his show once, and I normally don't watch it because I can't stay. It's on too late for me.
Yeah, me too. But 9mm is.
Oh, that who that is?
Yeah,
that's his wife.
Yes, it is. His better half.
God bless her for putting up with him. I tell you, she needs a medal. Putting up with him. Okay, now we're getting. See, I didn't know that. See, that's how sheltered I am on YouTube. So mind you, talking about being, I'm not going to get into it, but I saw the video's been taken down now. But man, our buddy from Indiana here, Roll Call, he went ballistic on some video, yelling at people and all kinds of stuff. I'm not exactly sure what it was about, but the video's come down. I happened to click on it, and because it said he was live, and it was like a rants and raves. Man, was he raving and ranting? But it came down now. But he was talking. I mean, basically, he was talking about people. And I agree with him to a certain degree. Is people on YouTube need to stop putting other people down on YouTube. Just because they might not agree with what your philosophy, that kind of thing. But anyway, I'm not going to go into. I'm just saying, I just happened to see that, and it said it's not there anymore, so he took it down. So that's good. Or YouTube took it down because I was watching it. I must have come in the last couple of minutes or something because it just dead ended, stopped, boom, no warning, no nothing. It was over. Then of course, it showed up a few minutes later as a video to watch. Then it disappeared altogether. So I don't know if that was him or YouTube did it. I don't know. But
yeah, my schedule's changed. I can't catch any of those late ones anymore. Midnights or the Daily Gun Show, any of that stuff.
Oh, New York. I said he saw that shit. Okay. All right. So it wasn't me. I wasn't dreaming. Okay. I said I only saw it for a couple of minutes just before it ended. But he was going on. And I like Roll Call. He's a good guy, He's kind of out there, but he's a good guy, So, all right. What else we got to talk about? Anything else you guys got going on? Oh, the Queen has taken away the title of his royal, of Sussex. They can no longer use. The headline says their title has been taken away. No, it hasn't. They are not allowed to use it at all, ever. Doesn't mean it's gone. Because if, say, in a couple of years, he's finally kicked, the American bitch out of his bed and said, "I'm done with you," and he goes back to England, his title will come back. He goes back to the Queen, or if she's passed on by then, the King, and says, "I want to come back," and
So-
his title will be reused again.
If anyone's wondering, Rick has went off the deep end. He's talking about those crazy foreigners over across the pond.
Is he talking about Prince Harry?
Yeah.
Yo, Diana's ill.
No, we lost Squibby, see? Yeah, but see, now they're coming over. Right now, they're living in Canada. Right? They're keeping their home in England, that cottage that the British taxpayer paid for to be, because it was old and dilapidated, falling apart. They practically stripped it out and rebuilt it for them. They're keeping that as their British or as their English home, and they're going to be living in Canada, I believe. Whether they're going to move to the United States, I don't know. But I heard she's already got a contract with Disney to do voices and shit like that. So, Oh, people, even though they don't have a royal title, he's still Prince. He still has Prince to his name. You can't take that away from him. So of course, I mean, if they go anywhere, he comes in the States with her. Even though technically he doesn't represent the Queen anymore, some of these dumbass celebrities out in New York will be slobbering and wetting themselves and having orgasms if they come to a party of theirs or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I admit I don't know much about those people over there besides hassling them on Twitter, but wasn't the Queen's husband's brother? I mean, he was the king first, right? I don't know if it should be the right time, where he was the king, and then he ended up liking an American, and so he basically gave up the throne and gave it to his brother, or is that the dad?
He abdicated. That was that was the Queen's uncle.
Okay, it's one more back. Okay.
Yes, it was the Queen's uncle. When he abdicated, her father became king.
Yeah, and he was the one that had the stuttering.
Yeah, married Mrs. Simpson.
Okay.
The divorcee.
Okay.
They went to live in France.
Did he lost all his clout?
Yeah,
too?
they gave him a title, and I can't remember what it was now. Him and her did have a title. Like the Duke and Duchess. They had a title like that, and I can't remember what it was now off the top of my head.
Well, I'm sure he got a fancy title because he was actually the king, not just some little prince.
Yeah. Well, he abdicated, so his brother became king, and that's how Queen Elizabeth. Because when he died, she was the next one in line to get the throne.
And isn't that
so, I mean, if his brother hadn't abdicated, these guys and ladies would be further down the line. Right now, like Prince Harry, that's the one that's married to what's her name, right? Was it Prince Harry and Prince? What's the other one's name? The other brother, Harry and William. Is that what it is? I can't remember. Anyway, what happens next if the Queen abdicates? Which I doubt she'll do. She'll be queen to the day she dies. She's 93 now. Her mother lived to be 102. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Right? Mm-hmm. So when she passes, it goes to Prince Charles. Right? So he'll become the King of England. Now he's in his 70s or late 60s. He's up there. Right? So he ain't going to live long anyway. You know what I'm saying? So then the next in the line is it Prince William? I think That's his oldest son from Princess Diana. Right? Now that he's married to Kate Middleton, is that her name? Their oldest son is the next in line after him. So Prince Harry, all that other line has to die before Prince Harry's even got a chance of being king. So
yep.
That's how it works.
There was a movie. I think it was the Speech, maybe. I don't know. It was about the stuttering guy that took over the king.
Oh yeah, I can't
and
remember.
It was the start of World War II, where he had to make the speech about the bad Germans and all that stuff. Can't remember what it was. Anyway, it was pretty.
Does the Queen have any real power, or is it just mostly oriental ceremonial? Well, she can dissolve Parliament. Does she have any real power? Not per se. No, not really anymore. But I say no, but they listen to the Queen. So it's yes and no. She does and she doesn't. I reckon if they, because theoretically, right, she could, because she's in charge of all the armies, all the military. So if she wanted to turn them against the people or whatever, technically she could. But whether they listen to her or not is another question. But basically, she's a tourist attraction now. In this day and age, in the 21st century, she's the longest living monarch that England's had. I think she's the longest living monarch that the world has seen. And she is a cash cow to the British economy. Her and the royal family. They are a cash cow. So there you go. New York Outcasts says, I don't care about any of them. Oh, yeah, that's up to you. Now this might piss off a few people. I want to see what Squib's intake on this, right? I've noticed that, how can I put this without sounding too like an asshole, now I think it's detrimental to the American people that they don't give a shit what happens outside the United States. There's a lot going outside there in the world, and it seems America is not even interested. Now, where I'm going with this is, if you pulled everybody back, got rid of all the embassies, put all the military back, right? We would be a very lonely place. We need the rest of the world. America needs the rest of the world to survive. It cannot survive on its own. It's got to sell its products overseas. It has to survive. So you need to know what's going. And I think people need to know. Where I'm going is they don't seem to teach it much in school anymore. Also, like when I watch the news, when you actually can watch a news channel, it's hard to find them nowadays. But all they give you is, most news channels are regional, so you just get the news for your area. If you go to the bigger channels, you get the news for all United States, but they don't seem, very rare they go outside of the United States. You know what I'm saying? And like in England, they do world news. When the news comes on, it's world news. So I don't know. What am I missing?
I notice when you go out of the country, people look at you silly because most Americans don't have bilingual. They don't know another language. So they kind of snuff at you because you're a lazy American. You don't know nothing. But
yeah,
What exactly are you getting at, Rick?
What?
What exactly are you getting at?
He's saying we should care about those little twerps out there that buy all our stuff, and not to be full of ourselves, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, this is a real simple answer to a real simple question. I'm going to wait for the bus to pass here. Probably somebody cracked their skull open on the highway.
All right.
This is the second ambulance, so it must be a bad accident. Okay, here's the answer. Everybody wants to come to America. Whether they hate America or not, whether they come here and they still try to do what they did back in their home country, everybody wants to come to America. There's the answer to your question.
No.
We don't.
Oh, we lost him again. He dropped out again.
Did you see that? How Rick just snubbed him?
Yeah,
Push
I
the
think,
button.
well, put him in timeout. I didn't want to hear it.
But
I
it's
didn't
true,
hear it.
though. It is true. I mean, if you spend any time outside of the country and look back and watch news anywhere else, see what's going on, everyone looks towards America. I mean,
They're right.
and it's important because that does bring and open your eyes to a lot of things that, if you're just the average Joe doing your average work, going to work and doing your family things and all that stuff, most people are oblivious to it, but to actually go outside the country and see how they really look at us and want to be here. I mean, you meet so many people that it's crazy.
Everybody knows I lived in Europe, and I lived over in the Far East and stuff. And the embassies and consulates are constantly a constant line, 5 days a week, around the buildings for people trying to get in to get visas to come here. And I understand that. I really do. And everybody does want to, because this is a great country, even with all the troubles we got right now. But this is a great country. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to world news or what's going on or who's what and what's what in the world, it seems the American youth or the American person of today, for lack of, is ignorant of what's going on because they're not taught or they're not interested. I mean, try to ask them to, point to Saudi Arabia on a map. Can they? You know what I'm saying? You put a world map up on the wall with no names on it, and you say, well, show me where Saudi Arabia is. Can they get anywhere near it? That's what I mean.
There was
that's what I was trying to say, Squib.
What's the problem?
I'm still going on about this. What I'm trying to say is, it seems that most American people in today's world are ignorant.
No, it's not ignorant. We don't need to know about. We don't need to know. We don't. It's not ignorant. It's we don't need to know. When England becomes the place everybody wants to go to and America isn't, then we need to know. Until then, who cares? Now, I'm not going to say that I think it's a good idea for somebody to just live one place, stay one place, and never see the world. Whether it just be visiting the rest of this country, because I moved around a lot as a kid, just like you, Rick. And you know what it means to be well-rounded as far as living in different environments and getting to observe things and finding out that everybody's not like where you were born and grew up. But I've lived around a bunch of people that have never, other than being a tourist, have never lived anywhere other than where they were born, raised, and had a family of their own. And they're really ignorant about how the rest of our country is, let alone the rest of the world. Yeah. I think it's a good idea to move around. Get out of your parents' house and move to another state. Move to the other side of the country. Move as far away as you can. Go live your life and possibly see the world. Now, it may not be as easy to live somewhere, but if you do, maybe your company wants to send you to Germany for 3 years. Do it. If you don't have a family, do it and then come back and have whatever it is. But get out and try to experience stuff because you'd be less ignorant. But I don't think it's necessary for the average American to know anything about the world or world politics other than we're the greatest place on the earth. And when we're not, then it maybe should be a necessity. So in England, where nothing happens and people are boring and it's not interesting, of course they're looking at world news because they're like somebody who lives out in the country who's really, really friendly. They're really, really friendly because they're lonely. Nothing happens out there. Oh, here's somebody from the city. They're going to be interesting. They're going to have stories and entertain me and tell me all kinds of things and what's going on in the real world. And that's why England cares about that. And England used to own half the world. Why they gave it up, I don't know. For the countries that fought for their independence, they earned it. All the other ones where England handed it back, every one of those countries has gone straight to hell because England goes, here, we're just going to give it to you. We're not going to let you fight for it. So I don't see right now the average American needing that. But when we become a second world country, absolutely. We should be going, oh, I wonder what they're doing over in Russia or Egypt or Guatemala or whatever.
I personally, see, that's where I disagree. I think the Americans should know it, or you understand about the foreign policies that are done.
Why? Who gives a shit?
Well, that whole thing, it is good to know other places. I mean, that's great. I mean, I like to know where Helva comes from. That's good. If you ever get outside of the U.S., the embassy in Bangkok, Thailand is beautiful. Beautiful. So check it out.
Yeah, your camera's on, by the way, Squib. Just want to let you know.
That's my phone acting up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just saying it's just something I think Americans should know, for they know about foreign policy.
When
the government does something,
Okay, look, I'm not saying it's not a good idea. I'm not saying you can't make a more intelligent argument when you're bringing up something about the world. When somebody wants to talk about gun laws over in another country, and they go, well, they've got it like this over here. We ought to do that. You don't know the 50 other restrictive gun laws that suck, and that's why America has still got the best gun laws and stuff. And when somebody goes, when these Hollywood actors go, well, if so-and-so gets elected, I'm moving out of the country. Okay, go ahead, live over there. I've been there. When Donald Trump says third world shithole, I really know what a third world shithole looks like.
So do I.
Right?
So do I.
Okay, but it doesn't mean that the average American needs it. It's a good idea. Just like some of the firearms training is a good idea, but I don't think it should be a requirement. So once again, I'm going to go back to everybody wants to come here. And when everybody doesn't want to come here anymore, then I think we need to know.
Well, it started a long time ago when they started teaching, nonsense, and they started taking out actual history. We don't even learn our U.S. history. We don't learn about government. We don't learn about civics. A lot of that stuff. I mean, it might be there, but since the late '80s, I don't know what's in school anymore. But the whole idea is they've taken stuff out. They don't teach about civics and being all that stuff that they need to teach anyways. So of course they're going to add that where is Chad on a map? I don't know. I mean, I remember a game show where they had asked, hey, tell us where this is, and the guy was like, oh, I know where it's at because I went to school in England, because obviously they have to learn about that. But that's just like somebody that lives in Texas. If you watch the news, you don't want to just watch the state news. You want to learn about stuff in other parts of the country, and that's kind of like England because Europe's just little.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say.
It's just like looking over
people in the United States. I mean, do people over on the West Coast know what's happening in Virginia?
They don't care. It doesn't matter to them.
No.
Well,
believe me, moving all over, this is what I discovered about people who never live anywhere else. They don't care. They just don't. And they're like, what do you mean everybody don't work the kind of jobs we work here, or have the economy we have, or have the weather we have, or wear the clothes we have, or like the music we have, or do the things for recreation we do, or use the same terminology, or pronounce the city name the same way, or what? Well, no, they don't. What do you mean?
Squib's been drinking.
New York
But that's the thing.
Outcasts,
They're not going to show you
they're
anyway.
brainwashing the public.
Yeah.
Schools have been a target for years. You know.
The reason I know what I know is because I chose to do it on my own. If somebody twisted my arm, I don't know that I'd want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the whole idea of they're not teaching stuff in school when they're not telling you what dates are. They didn't, say what Veterans Day was or Armistice Day or any of that kind of information. They're not teaching that kind of stuff that is important, that does keep you from repeating history. I mean, yeah, it's cool to learn about, Tiananmen Square and all the people that got ran over by tanks, right? We need to know that. That is information that is something that's important. But when our schools aren't teaching it, the news, we're complaining that they're not talking about stuff from,
See,
what's happening in Jamaica or,
They're not, as you
Laos
said,
and all that stuff. They're not going to do it. They're not going to talk about stuff we need to know, let alone stuff that
they don't even, as you said, they don't even teach American history.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't understand what the government is doing is wrong because they haven't told them American history, how America got to be America.
That's why you got to be a good parent and bust your kid over
Yeah.
there and say, "Take this." I'm sure Squib does.
I'm glad you said that because I was gonna bring that up.
He tells his kids something that you can't rely on public schools to teach your kids. They can do all that fake math and 30 different ways of rounding and estimating a number, but they can't tell them actual dates. But that's not their job. That is your job as a parent or an uncle or a neighbor or something like that. So don't be lazy.
It's just like when we take our family vacation. We do fun stuff, but we also visit historical stuff or go to places we've never been before, or we go back to places we've been and explore new parts of it, and the kids get to see different parts of the country, and I'm explaining why they do this way, or no, that's not the way they pronounce it here, they pronounce it this way, or, we visit some historical site, and do you realize what happened here and why this is, because I know the schools don't do that.
Yeah, my big thing is just if you ask something or your kid mentions something that they learned in school, question them about it, because that's the big thing I push with my kid. If somebody tells you something, don't just assume it's right. You think about it. Does it sound right? Question and look at all the possibilities.
Yeah. So, but what?
Who won?
Well,
anyways?
We've talked about this before, but what's scary is I understand what you're saying. It's good parenting because we're at the age we know this stuff, so we can pass it on to our kids, right? Hopefully, they will pass it on. But it's where I'm going. My life is a lot easier than my father's life was, and I tried to give my kids everything that I didn't get. You know what I'm saying? So we are the problem. I think also we're not helping the problem because we're trying to make life so easy for our kids and stuff like that as well.
That's why you got to make them go shovel the damn snow.
No, giving your kids a better life than you have is your natural instinct as a parent. It's what everybody does. It's just what you do. It doesn't mean that, but when you take it too far and your kids don't learn any lessons and they become entitled little a-holes, then yeah, that's where you've taken it too far.
And I feel that's where the country's got to.
Can I break in here for a second? Are you going to do your giveaway?
Oh, yeah. Oh, goddamn, it's 4:15.
Doesn't matter.
See what happens when you start drinking with me? You lose track of time.
Yeah. All right. Last week's quiz. I guess people didn't like it because I think I only got 3 entries. Right. What I wanted to know, who was the first Mandalorian to be inducted into the Jedi Order? And I'm not even sure. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Is it Terra Vizsla or something like that? Vizsla. That was his last name. First name Tarre. So how you pronounce that, I don't know. But and it was for a swag pack. And the winner, let me hit my I had 3 entries. So let me hit my draw button here, and who we got? Southpaw RX is the winner. Didn't he win last week? Or was that the week before? No, Sabrina won last week. So Southpaw is the winner.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I said I only had 3 entries, so they all had a third of a chance of winning. A 33.3% chance of winning, you know. So Southpaw RX is the winner. Let me write that down before I forget. All right. This week, it was a swag pack, a couple of patches, and stickers and stuff. And I got it all over here. I mean, it's, usual stuff. I got stickers and a couple of patches in there and stuff. It's, it's good because it's an easy question. So, Squib win again? So, okay. In the TV series The Sun, it was Pierce Bronson was the main character, played a guy called Eli McCullen. In season 1, episode 4, what model and make of rifle did he use? So, in TV series The Sun, starring Pierce Bronson, his character name was Eli McCullen. In season 1, episode 4, I want to know what the make and model of rifle he was carrying. That's it. It's real simple. Email me at rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Get it into me by 12 noon next week. And we will, you could be the winner of that prize. So there we go. I mean, you know what I forgot to do? Cut of the week. I forgot to think of one. Let's see. What can we talk about?
Corned beef.
Corned beef.
Yes.
Now, see, there's 2 types of corned beef. Most corned beef is made out of brisket over here in the United States. And it's, I don't know. It's hard to describe. I'm not a corned beef lover, so I didn't deal with it much. But, it's, well, like when you have it on St. Patrick's Day, corned beef and cabbage. It's just boiled brisket and boiled cabbage, But any cut can be corned beefed. All it is put into a salt brine, for a few days. When I worked in the butcher shops in England, and I done it in a couple of the American places here that I've worked in, but not many. Is like you have a display of, say, roast beef out there, either top round or bottom round or tip roast sitting on your display. You put them on display for a couple of days, then you pull them. Right? There's still nothing wrong with it, but you normally pull them, and that stuff you pull back, and you just throw it into the salt barrel to turn it into corned beef. So that's basically. Now, I said I wasn't over keen on salt beef. I do like, what in the hell is the name of it? It used to, where the corned beef is covered in pepper, on the outside. So when you slice it, oh man, now that's good. That's
like blackened?
Yes. So, yeah, but blackened corned beef, that's pretty good. But basically, that's what it is. It's
just soaked in salt.
Yeah, it's a salt brine. It's salt and some other spices.
Oh, okay.
But it's mainly salt It's what it is. It's normally sea salt. You know, it's not your normal table salt that you sprinkle on your French fries. It's actual sea salt. You know, it's more industrialized. It's, you know, it's more. It's not real. It's thicker granules. Then you put it in and you stir it up. I used to make a big barrel. I used to have it was actually a 25-gallon drum in my cooler. And basically, I just kept throwing everything in there. You know, I very, very rarely ever emptied it. All I would do was make a new batch of, you know, maybe 5-gallon bucket of brine and tip it in there. I just kept it going, you know, because the salt's going to kill anything, you know.
Now, what's the stuff that they used to use in the war, in World War, like chip beef or something? What's the salted?
No, in England they called that corned beef, but it was like chip beef. It's just manufactured meat compressed together. You know, I mean that's
ground up or something.
What? It's ground up. Yes, it's ground up and compressed. Comes in a can. It comes in. I mean, you could buy it off. I remember as a kid buying it. You could buy a small tin of it off the grocery shelf. You know, and it's ground up beef, compressed by machinery. You know, and you just sliced it and stuff like that. You know, you got to remember that. I mean, see, this is how well you have it over here. I mean, like in England, I remember my mother telling me. I remember my dad telling me, right? And my dad was the American. He went over to England in 1952, I believe. And if I'm correct, I think meat was still rationed or just come off of rationing. I think it was still rationed. So stuff like corned beef and stuff wasn't rationed. You know, that kind of stuff. So all that stuff, you know, that's why they eat all that kind of stuff in England. You know,
and that's why they watch World News.
Yes, and that is why they watch World News. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Midnight Rain says dried beef is dried, aged. Corned beef is wet. There you go. But I'm saying but in England they called the dried beef corned beef. In England it come in a can. Like if you owned a meat shop in England, you sold corned beef. It used to come in 10-pound tins. And you remember in the old days when you had the can and had the key on it, and you had to twist the lid to open it up.
Yeah.
Or am I too old for you guys?
No, that's like Spam cans or sardine cans.
Yeah. I remember that's kind of stuff we used to do. We lost Squib. We lost Blind Shooter ages ago. It's only me and you now, Patriot.
Uh-oh.
And you stopped you stopped my topic, so I'm all.
Oh.
And you stopped in. I lost my train of thought on that one. So I'm going to wind this down. We've been going almost an hour and a half. All right. You know. Plus, I said I've been sitting here, and I said maybe that sickness is gone now. Maybe it was just maybe something I ate yesterday or something. Just all of a sudden hit my stomach at the wrong time. I don't know, but nothing's happened to me this hour and a half I've been sitting here. So, got my fingers crossed. Touch wood. I'm touching my head. You know. So I want to say thank you, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it. Sorry it went off target here at the last 15 minutes. I do apologize for that. But I will be back again on Wednesday with Shooting with Disabilities. And I'm going to try to find out some more info about that thing. Get a better description of it and how it works and all that. I'm going to look into that, see if I can find something about it. So I'll be back here on Wednesday at 7 p.m. with Shooting with Disabilities. And I appreciate everybody who stops by on a. Well, you guys who are trapped in the snow up there in the north, got nothing else to do. Down here in the southern Indiana, you know, I mean, it's amazing. Like this state, they can have snow up there in northern Indiana, but down here, nothing. You know, so it's I like it that way. You know. So.
Yeah, I didn't have any snow yesterday.
Yeah,
It was just it was nice.
we had a lot of rain the last 2 days.
Mm.
You know, I must admit we've had some rain here. So I don't know if that's just like because the weather's too warm here. So instead of being snow, it's turned into rain. You know? So. Ozzy Osbourne says, "What was Ozzy? No, 2 Live Moo." He goes, "Shit, now I have to go shovel now. Shovel snow." Yeah, that's the way it is, I'm afraid. So anyway, you got any parting words, wisdom you want to give, Patriot?
Just enjoy your family. Enjoy it if your spouse has a birthday today. Don't forget birthdays. That's important. Yeah. That's about it. Just yeah.
Where's the Kingpin? I ain't seen him for a while.
He was around last night. I heard
He's
him.
probably working to pay your
He's
Social
working
Security.
today. He must be working today. Yeah. So, any last words, Squib?
Samsung sucks, and thanks for the invite.
And I appreciate your input, even dropping in and out. Said some good stuff, like always. You know. So,
Somebody's got to be here to remind you that you're an American.
I am an American.
Forget all the time. Somebody's got to be here to remind you of that.
Yes, but you got to remember. Actually, I'm getting to the point now, right? Let's see. I was 38 going on 39 when I came back here. So I've been here since 95. So how many years ago is that?
I don't know. It's math.
95.
You got 2 Marines sitting here. We got to count.
25 years. 25
Yeah,
years.
I've been here almost as long as I lived in Europe or I lived overseas. Hasn't all been in England and Europe, you know. So, but it's still, it's, you know, I understand what you're saying, but I guess because my what's the word I'm looking for? In the years that when I was soaking up stuff, I was living in England. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then maybe that's why I have a bad habit of reverting to that side and going you all, you know.
It's all those years wearing knickers, right?
Yes.
Those little pants or something.
Yeah.
You got to watch out because I think women call knickers something else. I don't know. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Patrick, we're closing her up now. I'm really late, but I'm here now. I'm just doing the closing credits. You know, I'm sorry you missed out on a great conversation. You know, you're going to have to go back and listen to it. Been busy at work today. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, buddy. So hopefully you'll catch us next week. So you can always go back and listen to this anyway. So there we go. So anyway, okay, there we go. I'm going to say good night to everybody or good afternoon, whatever you wish. And I will see you all next Wednesday at 7 p.m. So let me shut this thing down. So good afternoon, everybody.